Same mic.
Let's be the distance.
Hey, security peeps. We are. It hasn't even started yet. We are live with another edition of Breaking Into Cybersecurity. I am Renee Small, cybersecurity super recruiter, helping amazing leaders hire great talent. The whole crew is here today. Let's go around. Naomi Buckwalter.
Hey everyone, happy, was it Thursday? I can't even keep track now. Good to see you all pretty beautiful faces. Let's break you into cybersecurity. Let's go.
Happy to have you back, ma'am. James, who's just James right now, not James J. Azar.
It is not. It's James Azar, and hello, good afternoon and morning or evening to everyone and anyone.
Hello. Happy to have you here today. And our dear love, Chris Foulon.
Howdy, everyone. Security consultant and security cyber coach.
You also forgot Naomi on your payroll.
Not like a volleyball coach, but a cyber coach.
See, I knew you two were on each other's payroll. There's way too much excuses being done between both of you.
There's all these googly eyes and all
Naomi's all justifying. She's like, Chris is really busy, That's why he's a little late. He's doing a lot of things. And now I realize you two are just in cahoots.
We're cahoots.
Like, what is going on here? Reginald says, hello all. Hello, Reginald. Happy to have you here with us at 1 p.m. Eastern. So
subscribe.
Guys, I'm off this week. Get into it in a second. So subscribe. Make sure you go to our YouTube channel and subscribe to Breaking Into Cybersecurity. What else do I need to tell people to do?
Follow Renee, follow Chris, follow Naomi. You can follow me, although I guarantee you I'll offend you at least 3 times a day.
That's what I pay you for, James. I want to hear the real truth.
We want the real deal.
We do, yeah.
That's what James brings. He brings the realness.
Too much echo chamber otherwise. We need James.
Get out of the echo chamber.
Agreed. Sean says he looks forward to this show all week. Aw.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you, Sean. You guys are so awesome. Okay, so today's hot topic, or today's first kickoff topic.
Before you do that, Paisley shirt challenge.
Ooh.
Everyone, I have the Paisley shirt link for Wounded Warriors posted.
Thank you, John De La Cruz. This is like really ugly.
Doesn't even put it on.
I just want to give you the
put it on. Put it on.
Me wearing the shirt, showing. Just letting you know right now, because they're gonna get the full Paisley experience.
I love it.
So good.
I don't know what taco meat is. It doesn't sound good.
So we will post. We will post the link again on the YouTube side of things. Actually, Renee will, since she has access to that. But it's already posted on the LinkedIn side. So go ahead, donate. We want James wearing that shirt all month long. And he actually announced behind the scenes that if we could get to 5,000, there's a special surprise in store. I'm not going to say what it is, but let's get to 5,000 so we could get that special surprise for James.
So here's the Paisley shirt challenge. So you guys know what this is beyond me just wearing Paisley. So on the Tech Town Square, because Chris was there, I believe, when this challenge was issued. Everyone, if you guys don't know Eddie Doyle, you should go follow Eddie. Eddie's unbelievable. Eddie wears these really loud, awesome Paisley shirts, and he supports it well. He's British, the accent, the shirt, the hair. In November, he had the mustache. I mean, it works. No, I'm a black, iconic T-shirt, simple kind of guy. But someone said, I'd pay $100 to see you in a Paisley shirt. And another said, I'd match it, and I'd match it, and I'd match it. As of right now, we're at $603.37. Someone put 37 cents in there. I don't know. That's Shady Dave. Shady Dave donated $213.37. So
no, it's elite. It's too elite.
Too elite.
Yeah.
Naomi got it.
Yeah. He got it. Here's John De La Cruz, who, thanks to John, I have the shirt. Right.
Put it back up.
So the idea is the following. Thank you, John. I'm very grateful for you. Second shout out, and I'm sure when I wear the shirt, I'll probably like print out your picture and put it on the boxing bag behind me when I wear it. I'm kidding. I'm joking. I'd never do that to you, John. But anyway, I decided that instead of just having people pay, we're going to donate to a really, really great cause. That great cause is the Wounded Warrior Project, which helps veterans recover from injuries, whether it be PTSD or physical injuries, all kinds of really cool stuff. $150, every $150 we give them is hours of therapy.
Wow.
Who deals with PTSD. So it's a great cause. You get to see me rip out of this black shirt and into these Paisley shirts. And yes, they're at the Wounded Warrior Project and Under Armour love this challenge. They're all full, like, bought into this, and they've promised me that if we hit a goal, they'll find the most ludicrous shirt they can find that Wounded Warrior Project and Under Armour can put together, and I will support that shirt as well. So go donate now, please, and support Wounded Warrior.
Oh my God, this is going to be so good. Not only is it an awesome cause, but we get to see our beautiful, wonderful, amazing James Azar in all of his glory in beautiful Paisley. And the Paisleyiest they have, I got to go find a nice, juicy, orange colored Paisley shirt for you next.
Well, you know, my partner in crime at the Tech Town Square, Eddie Doyle, he agreed yesterday to wear a Unit 42 shirt. And when you look up Eddie, you realize that Eddie works for Checkpoint. So now he's going to wear a Unit 42 shirt, which is of Palo Alto.
Nice.
This is fun. I'm actually sending, Chris put it in the chat. I'm going to put it in too to make sure that you guys see it. Go there, donate. We're trying to hit $1,000 just in the next hour. I'm going to go donate in a second because I cannot wait.
Yeah, we raised like $500 last night.
Yep.
So, yeah, if we can get to 1,000, then I don that shirt on Wednesday. Once we get to 2,500, I get to don a shirt for 3 shows. And when we hit 5,000, I've promised that all week, every show I do that week, I'll don a Paisley shirt of whatever anyone sends me.
All week.
And I just got to tell you, my wife thinks that me wearing that shirt is absolutely hideous.
She loves it.
Not wrong.
It's a wonderful shirt, by the way. John Dela Cruz did an amazing job of taking out a shirt.
Sweet.
Paisley onesie.
Paisley onesie.
Paisley.
You know, if we get to 10 grand, I may do that. I may make the own Paisley onesie and then wear it with a tutu.
A Paisley onesie, and then we'll get Chris Roberts to come on with his tutu, and we will blow up all of LinkedIn.
We'll blow up the internet.
We will blow up the internet. Some great comments already. Nora says, "Hi, Chris, James, Naomi, and Renee. Happy to be here. Chris, I'm working towards some money. We'll reach out when all is done. Thank you for all your time."
Thank
Chris,
you, Nora.
Already got a client there. John says, "All for Cyber Pros. So nice to see us together. We are happy to be here, and we're happy to see you here, John." Jason Dixon, thank you for being on YouTube, Jason Dixon. Hello from California. Hello to California. Kelly says, "Glad I turned in today. Great to see Naomi here. Always reading your posts on my feed." Naomi has like the best trigger posts. Post something
off.
and the world like
People are angry. I'd rather them get angry at me than to, shoot up a crowd of children. So please get angry at me. It's much better and much healthier.
How many when you put up those posts, like what has been your biggest one? Like how many likes, shares, all that good stuff?
Oh, there's one where I just tell stories about my life and people just start mansplaining. Those are my favorite. Some people post and they get like 1,000 comments. I was like, oh wow, this is great. So I love the comments. Keep them coming.
Awesome. So good. John says, "Thanks." Yeah, John, you jumped it off with that Paisley shirt. Zoe says, "Happy CISO Thursday." Happy CISO Thursday to you too. And Daniel says, "Hello, everyone."
Hello.
All right. So we're kicking off our topic today. Well, are we talking about 221 and 2021? Chris, before you jump off? Or no?
Great. Let me get some stats. So some background for those that don't know what 221 and 2021 is. It is our initiative to have those who have some extra time review the resumes of those looking to break into the industry or need an extra help with their resume review. My browser is not updating right now, but I will post some stats in the chat later once I have it. But the idea is, if you're interested in having your resume reviewed, I have links. We'll post the links again. I'll post an update with the links. That way you can have your resume reviewed. If you are a resume reviewer and you would like to help during your spare time, reach out to me and I will get you access. There's a slight screen on there to make sure that we have the right people reviewing the resumes, so that those who are having their resume reviewed have the best possible reviewer. That is my update. Way to put me on the spot.
Hey, that's what we do here. Since you blow us up, we blow you up too. And since you're gonna leave soon, we know we got to get you early, because you're so special. Wounded Warrior Project. I put it in the chat, people. Go there. Paisley shirt challenge to get James in a Paisley shirt. We're trying to raise 200 and something at least to get to $1,000. If we get to 1,000 during this podcast, during this live, what are you going to do, James?
So
are you going to wrap it around? You don't have to put it fully on.
So I will put it fully on. I will take off the black. There will be no black whatsoever. It'll just be Paisley all the way through and through. I'll wear it like I'll donate like.
Where's my money? Where's my?
Make sure you comment CISO Thursdays though when you do donate, so we know which show you came from. Because the Tech Town Square got me doing something, and people on CISO Talk, there's a CISO poll going for my flagship podcast that I'm recording in about 3 weeks with a really prominent CISO to wear the most outrageous shirt for that episode. So, God, for the life of me, please, I want to try and actually be iconic on that.
We want you to break. See, so last year this time we broke the internet with the Hacker Valley Studio folks. Chris and I don't know if you guys got to see this, but Chris and I, we all had StreamYards, and we put all of we collectively went live all at once. And LinkedIn was like, whoa, and they shut us down. So we said, we were like, we're going to break LinkedIn. We didn't really think we were going to break LinkedIn, but we did. And they shut us down, so that I was the only one that was able to go live and stream. So it would be awesome to break the internet with James's Austin Powers shirt. It'll be fun. Next Gen says Chris handles the spotlight well. And Kelly says resume review. That's awesome. He is interested. Yep. People, continue to our 221 and 2021 challenge. Please send your resume, tag or follow one of us. We'll send you the link so you can get your resume reviewed and get a job. I know we have probably 30 something people hired. We don't know the exact numbers, but we are climbing and we are continuing to climb. So we do not want to let that die down. Now, let's get to the topic at hand. James, you want to kick it off?
Wow, you just put me on the spot again.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah, so
she does that.
Let's talk about burnout and balance of work and life today. Let's do a very positive, good episode where we talk about real ways to avoid burnout in cyber and just in life in general, because, Renee's got a story maybe, of being, Renee needs a vacation, folks. So we want to give Renee some time off.
I need a vacay. Okay, he put me on the spot now, so I'll go. I'll go. So this past week, you gotta love family. That's what they do to you. They just they spin it around. As soon as you try to deflect, they're like, no, you get in there. So yeah, this past week I had these crazy chest pains, had to go to the urgent care and emergency room, and they were the full workup and checking me out to make sure that everything was okay. And I'm clearly alive and back here with you all. So heart still works, everything still works. But, it just, you think about, you may not feel, I was saying to my mom this week, because my mom's a retired nurse, so I can't call her halfway through a situation. I have to call her when I have like a diagnosis. It has to be the end, or else she's going to start flipping out, because moms who are nurses and medical professionals know how quickly everything can go like the wrong way. So I call her. I'm like, Mom, I'm in the ER. Everything's fine. They checked me out. They did the blood work, all that stuff. All my blood work came back good. I just took a picture and sent it to you, all that good stuff. And so long story short is, she said to me, you may not feel it, right? You may not feel, because I was like, I don't feel stressed out. Like, I don't feel it, but it's happening, right? And over time, COVID, 3 little kids, all the different things that happen, and they kind of pile on. And it just is a very, very immediate reminder to take a break. So we can raise money for my nanny's fund. we can do that.
Let's focus on the Wounded Warrior first, but it's definitely good.
Wounded Warriors, they need the help more than me. Okay,
Yes.
Wounded Warriors first, then we'll stand something up for my vacation fund. So that's what we're talking about. We also talked about today, I was saying, one of the things that I realized, when you're stressed out, you're tired, whatever, I started getting these phishing emails that we all get, right? And one I just ended up clicking on, and I know better, but because I was tired, the email kept coming up like 2, 3, 4 times. It looked important. I was just like, what is this? I skipped over it a few times, and then I click and I'm like, oh my God, it's a phishing email. And then another one came through that I caught, but it just goes to show, and we know, this because we've read it, we know it, that when you're not at peak performance and you're not taking care of yourself, other things slip. And so, there we are. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. James says, Renee, so glad you're okay. Thank you so much, sir. Me too. Anybody else have a story they want to tell?
I think this kind of goes to the idea of work-life balance when people want to get into cyber. Naomi and I kind of spoke about this on a bunch of the other shows, which is the idea of like a work week, right? Like people working 60, 70, 80 hours, the burnout that comes with it, the idea of even working 40, 45 hours, and to be in cyber, you still have to learn. And so then you're dedicating yourself another 10 hours a week to read and catch up on things so you're not left behind. And all of that takes a toll. And, Renee, you work hard. You're one of the hardest working people I know. And so we kind of see this stuff, and it's a reminder of, work's always going to be there. We're never going to run out of work. But life isn't always going to be there, and your health isn't always going to stick around. And so maybe we need to reprioritize some stuff. I know we talk about breaking into cyber, but let's talk a little bit about the balance of breaking into cyber.
No, that's such a good point. It's such a good point, because especially, folks that are, and I think with the pandemic, everything's converged. So before, I was always I've been remote working since 2-3 days a week since 2011, full-time since 2015. And I've been always at home, but nobody else was here. So it's quiet, it's focus time, all that good stuff. And now I'm continuously trying to break up a 6-year-old and a 9-year-old from wrestling each other and ending up in the ER. And then, all of this that's happening. And so the work part, you squeeze it in between or at night. That's what my mom was like, you don't realize you're up in the middle of the night doing all this stuff. And so you end up on the other end of it. And for people who are breaking in, a lot of the times they're working full-time jobs, they have other things going, and then they're studying too. So they're trying to, when you talk about breaking into security, right, you may have your regular job that's paying the bills, you're doing some volunteer work to get the security experience, you're going to school, you're doing all these various things. So, just make sure to take time for yourself, which I will be doing more of. Norma
Signing up
says
for your masters.
It's just, stuff. Nora says, I agree with you, James. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
Well, I mean, for me, like I got to a point when last June that I needed to do something, and my release was physical activity. I would run, I would lift weights, I would find ways to let my body diffuse the stress that's inside that I couldn't otherwise do. I also live out in the country, so I could go for long walks, nature, bike rides, stuff like that. Definitely important to find ways to get that release. And even if it's like 5 minutes, 10 minutes in the middle of the day, it really adds up. I mean, Renee, you could just go for a walk in your community between your phone calls, or take your phone call on your walk and just have that release. Don't be stuck up in the house all the time.
You sound like my mom. You sound like my mom. Good Lord. Okay, Namdi says here, this is my buddy. It's paramount we balance health and wellness with our careers. It can be as simple as doing squats, push-ups, etc. at home in between meetings. Renee and I have had these conversations offline as well. So if anybody goes to Namdi's Instagram, it's so funny. Kind of like Naomi put up a post like, oh, hey, this is what I'm doing outside of work. Namdi is like the fitness guru, crazy MMA. I mean, when you get into his life, it's just like, whoa. So he is Mr. Buttoned Up cybersecurity man on one side, and a total I'll take you out guy on the other side. So he has been telling me forever, you need to get it together, girl. So yes, I know.
He's got physical security on lock.
He will.
But let's talk about rebalancing your work week. Naomi, do you think we need to reconsider how we define work going forward?
Well, I know it's a great setup question, James. Thanks. Yeah, if you guys are listening and you're currently kind of burned out, remember you have a voice. Use it. Tell your boss, tell your coworkers, like, hey, I'm ready for a break. Who else is? Raise your hand. Be like, hey, can we have a no meeting Wednesday? Or can we have half day Fridays? Like, put in your ideas to help your colleagues with their mental health, and it'll help you too. So yes, we do need to take a look at how we approach work. Do we need work, or does work need us? And I'll tell you, it's usually that we need work more than work needs us. So don't use it as an emotional crutch. Don't use it as an excuse to get away from your family. I know it's tempting, but use it so you can live. Like, the whole point of being here is to enjoy life and to help others. There's so much in life that we're missing out because we're stuck behind a screen.
Such a good point.
I think there's a great debate that we should be having around the idea of COVID's allowed us to slow down, work from home. It's had some benefits, right? I mean, a lot of people were able to connect because of COVID. And again, I'm going to try to stay positive, James, today for as long as I possibly can before we bring up the Bachelor's of Arts, liberal arts degree into the equation.
27 minutes.
23 minutes in. That's good. It's not bad. But we need to relook at how we do work in general. It appears that most organizations, FYI, are going towards the idea of remote work, coming into the office once or twice a week, maybe for not even a full day, but a partial day. That's what it's panning out to look like. That's what a lot of organizations are getting ready to do. When I speak to my peers and other people in business. So we're going to be working from home, and that seems to be the new norm, right? That we're going to spend at least 3 days a week working from home. And those are difficult days. Now, we've had unprecedented stuff. If you've got kids, schools weren't really open. I don't know if schools are going to come back and be open. Some schools are open, others aren't. We don't really know, and we won't get into that. But kids are a strain, and typically we can, send them off on a teacher and let them, drive the teacher crazy. And now we can't. Now they drive us crazy, and we look at those teachers and we go, "Wow, this is what you deal with every single day." But not my kid alone. 20 of my kids. Yeah, you kind of deserve a little bit of credit
and a raise
and more pay. Yep.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I was on with one the other day, and they were asking me if my 6-year-old is going. She was like, "Will he be in person?" I'm like, "Yes, yes."
Mine's been hybrid as soon as they offered it, and we read an email just last weekend where the teacher was like, "Yeah, she'll be doing 4 days in person." We're like, "Sweet." Turns out it was 2 groups of 2 days a week folks, and I'm like, "Oh man."
Yeah, but I think it's creating a new challenge, by the way, even for our own kids, right? But it's also allowing us to rethink the work week. And I think that's where we want to go into is we need to kind of get rid of these standard 8 to 5 or 9 to 6 office hours and really consider work to be more task-based. And, if you can get your work done in a marathon in 2 days and then spend the rest of the time doing you should be able to do that. Rather than, maybe like 5 days of having to put in the hours and clock the clock for the big man so the big man can say, "See, I'm paying this person." No one pays you for your time. People pay you to get the job done. If you get the job done in 2 hours or 40 hours, does it matter?
Yeah. Should totally be results driven.
Bye,
Chris.
Chris.
Comments. Next Gen says, "My study time for cybersecurity and these videos have been my saving grace lately. I run my own business and the market has been insane. So I've been working tons in addition to all the other stuff."
Yeah.
Me too.
Real
Kelly says, "You can tell NAMD works out. I need to get back on it. It doesn't help when I'm home 24/7 cooking all the meals I want." And drinking all the wine I want. Yes, that too.
I'll have to say it's very easy to compare yourself to like someone else's social media profile and be like, "Oh my God, that person works out all the time and they're eating so healthy and everything. And here I am on the couch eating a box of chips, like, and not doing anything." Like, don't compare yourself to what you see on social media. All of that is super fake. Like, I'm not on Instagram for a reason. I think I would just get super jealous of everyone having the perfect life. And it's all fake. It's like completely fake. So don't compare yourself. I know you can fall into that trap. And then you just get into the spiral of, "I'm not good enough," imposter syndrome, like everyone's better than me. Don't do that to yourself. There's no need. You're great the way you are. You're here for a reason. Please be kind to yourself. There's no reason for you to strive for something that you see someone else doing because they have their problems too. I'm sure they look at your life and say, "I wish I had the kids that you do or this wonderful spouse that you do." Like, everyone's got their problems. Everyone's got their goods and bads. Remember that.
That's what social media has done though, right? We all kind of, on the endless scroll looking at people who are, and the celebrity lifestyle, which, whenever I see someone who says, "I want to have this person's life," and I'm like, why? It's not true that they, there's every job respects itself and everything is different, but live your best life. And I think that's one of like the top things is live your best life. Just find what it is that suits you, that makes you happy, and live it. If it's a small shack somewhere, let that be your best life. No one says you've got to have a mansion with a pool to be happy.
You are so absolutely true. That's what Oprah said. Next Gen says, "The grass is always greener syndrome." It's true.
Yeah, that is very true. But I think we need to I'm very much into the idea of the debate of rethinking how we do the work week going forward. And I'm actually toying with some ideas. I'd love to get some feedback since we're here in a group and we've got a bunch of people listening. But the idea of here's your tasks for the week. Get it done by Friday at 5. I don't care what you do in the middle. We do structured calls 2 days a week, and that's it. The rest of the time, you're on your own.
I would love that idea. It depends on the company, obviously, but some companies are more meeting focused and they just do more of their work during meetings. And so you get your calendar filled up with meetings and you have action things to do after, but then you don't have the time to do them. So there's always that whole cycle. It's I would love that. You're only allowed to have meetings for 4 hours a week. The rest of the time you get it done asynchronously through chat messages, whatever it is, and then really focus as a company in the culture to really work on things that matter. And not just having your face show up at a meeting because it's important that you show up. I don't know. It's politics. It's that whole FaceTime thing. It's pervasive throughout many different companies. And yeah, we should address it. Just bring it up to your team, your leadership team, and just say, hey, what if we tried this? What if we got rid of meetings for an afternoon? What would happen? Nothing would
break. Why do we
right?
need to do so many meetings? I never understood that. So, I'm all for 30-minute meetings, short, one topic, only the right people in the room. You don't need to have, I hate going to these meetings where it's 20 people in the room for 3 people to speak to the one is speaking to the other 2 people and everyone else is just sitting there going like, all right, I'm going to play Candy Crush on my phone, or I'm on Instagram, or I'm on LinkedIn browsing, or I'm playing a game, or I'm reading an article, and I don't really care. And you can tell those people are doing that stuff on the call, but you got 3 a-holes, right, that are just sitting there going like, oh, this is a very important meeting to have 17 people that are not relevant, but just for us to be able to wield our power.
Yeah, power and control. It's about that power and control and the FaceTime.
Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. But
like
go ahead, Renee.
Waste. No, I think it's just a complete waste of time. And I'm actually excited about this topic because I remember doing some research more than a few years ago. But I'm going to do it again, especially since the pandemic, to see if they have more. It was called, there's an acronym that described what James just talked about in terms of work. Something, and I can't remember I can't remember the acronym, but there are companies that used to do this where they would say, hey, this is the work, you get it done. I don't care how, there were standing meeting times. So like maybe Tuesday at 11, Thursday at 2, something like that. And that's it. And then you were off on your own. And, I'm thinking about just different professions like freelance writers, things like that, where it's just like, hey, you have a deadline, you got to get this thing done. Obviously it's different, but they do have to schedule their own interviews and talk to other people. But ultimately, that's your little project. This is the deadline, and that's it. And all of the other kind of fluff and politics and hanging out and going to meetings where you don't need to be there, it's just filling up the day. Yeah,
I'll tell you, I'm going through burnout myself, right? And so talking just a little bit about me, I'm going through burnout, and I'm in a fork in the road in my career where I want to decide what I want to do next. And I'm not going to make any big announcements here. So, relax, sit back. Not going to happen today. Might be in the future, but part of that burnout is the idea of you're constantly in meetings, you're constantly working, you're constantly playing politics. You're constantly having to deal with all these different things that are going on, and that's just work. And imagine your personal life, and you can't unplug from your personal life. And when you're working from home, you don't have that hour car ride, that commute. That was kind of like your saving grace. How many people, like, I had the worst Tuesday of any Tuesdays. I wrote about it on LinkedIn. If you guys haven't seen it, you can go back and see it. But my day on Tuesday was just one gigantic, just dumpster fire that just kept like getting worse and worse and worse, right? And I smiled all through the day. Like, to my credit, I smiled all through the day. But at the same time, when I finished the day and I came back and it was 9 p.m. and I realized that I've done nothing all day for work, I was up until 3 a.m. to catch up, only to restart all over again Wednesday at 6 a.m., right? That burnout is real because we got a 7 a.m. stand-up call, and we have a 10 a.m., this call, and an 11 a.m. this call, and I've got to do this podcast, and I've got to speak to this person, and I've got to follow up with that guy. And, like, it's very, very tiring. And what that does to you is it like you said, Renee, and I think one of the things that really resonated with companies, and I think executives need to hear this, is when you work people tired, they make more mistakes. Let people rest.
Absolutely. Zoe, some really good comments coming in. Zoe said, I've never worked in a professional setting before, but I heard software engineers do stand-up. So your 7 a.m. stand-up meeting, it keeps meetings short because everyone is standing.
That's the way it used to be. Yeah. In the before times. Yeah. You used to stand up 15-minute meetings. So
right.
that's why they were called stand-ups.
Dinesh says, I'm from marketing and business management background. I want to start a career in information security. I have already done ISO 27001, lead implementer and auditor. What else can I do to enter a starter job or a voluntary position? Dinesh, 221 in 2021. Put your resume in there, and then we are helping people kind of get their wings and get the resume reviewed, and then we'll tell you what to do in terms of posting so that you can get some more exposure and hopefully an opportunity. Sean says, me too, burnout, taking on too much responsibility because no one else will.
Right, because we all want to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hero culture we need to take a look at that and talk about that too, because we should not have to do everything on our own. The security team should not be centralized. We should be creating advocates throughout the organization to help us out and to do security activities on our behalf. It's the only way we can scale. It's the only way we can keep going, because otherwise we are a battery that will dry out and we will run out of energy. We will burn out completely, and we will fail our organization. We won't keep it safe. So that's the whole point. Build relationships, get security champions throughout the organization, and they will do security for you. It's actually really quite easy. It's beautiful and it's easy.
We all need a Naomi at our jobs. That's what we need. NAMD said a weekly 1-hour meeting with 8 people are 20 man days a month. 240 man days a year, not including holidays. I once presented that perspective to a client and they changed their meeting approach.
It's a great little statistic.
Really good approach.
How much does that cost too? A 240 person hour meeting is like what? I don't even know.
240 days out of 365 a year. So I can't remember how many actual working days they are.
I think there's like 310 working days.
Something like that. Something like that. So Nora says, micromanagement sucks. I think getting things done right can work well with senior management who knows what to do. However, newbies might need senior manager support until they can be there on their own to get things done right. That is teamwork. Yeah, when you're managing, especially somebody that's new, that's right under you, that training component is definitely key. But then after that's only a relatively short duration of time, and then the person pretty much can get their job done. John Dela Cruz says, can totally relate to burnout, transitioning out of the military, learning and studying to break into cyber, medical, moving, a pregnant wife. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't tell y'all about the move that I'm about to have too, that we're renovating this townhouse. Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned that. Yeah.
All of that. Zoe says, I feel like people outside of security don't care about security until it affects them personally.
Yeah.
That is absolutely
very true. Mm-hmm.
Zoe's hitting some really good points today. But I will say this: when we look at security, I gave a talk earlier this morning, and I talked about the CISO dilemma, right? And the idea of the security dilemma, especially now, right, with the risk being not the traditional risk for organizations, right? So the ransomware risk is still there, the phishing risk is still there, all very manageable. But I can't control if Microsoft source code gets viewed and a nation state decides to launch a vulnerability because they were able to review the code and access everyone's email across multiple organizations, where now you can't talk because, well, email is off, right, until you fix it and you do all your forensics and you're trying to launch, and that's insane, right? And most of the time it's you got to have those conversations with the business, because the business will come to you and go, hey, Mr. Security, what are we going to do about, all these vulnerabilities? And we can't talk to 7 of our vendors because they're all on Exchange and none of them have email running right now. And we're, doing text messaging and Slack and Discord and all this other stuff. And you're like, yeah, let's have a conversation about, the companies we partner with and the software supply chain. And they look at you like, Espanol, Italiano, Francais. Like
you're speaking a whole different language.
Yeah, and you're like, no, let's talk about the companies we partner with. And
Danielle Goodwin is here lurking. Hi, Danielle.
Hey, Danielle.
Kelly says 240 hours a year, 260 hours if calculated as 52 weeks a year. So we're getting the stats around those hours. Zanette says, yes, working towards empowering folks outside of security to do security and protecting the organization systems and keeping the data safe. Security Champions program is a great one. That's so true. Every single person, security should be a component of their job. Like, they each should be that. So Next Gen says, I don't quite agree. I think that people outside security know it is an important thing, but either they don't understand it, think it's too expensive, or don't see how it would benefit them.
So I did a survey, not on LinkedIn. I did a survey through our mailing list. And the question I asked people was, who do you think is responsible for security? You, your company, the business, right? And it was a 3-question survey. It's like, who do you think is responsible for your own security? You, government, the companies you do business with. Who do you think is responsible for your household cybersecurity? And who do you think is responsible for the company's security? And most people, for their personal security, think that the government should be responsible for it. Isn't that scary? It's a scary thought. Scary. Let me trust the government with my cybersecurity.
Wow.
Oh, Lord.
That was 62%. 62%. 62% of people thought that government should be responsible. 26% thought that it should be the cable company. So if I've got AT&T or Comcast or Verizon, that they should be responsible, and only a few thought it was their own responsibility.
There's something to say about those like neutral third-party infrastructure types like Cloudflare and, like internet providers. They do have some sort of responsibility to like shut down hackers and stuff. But yeah, you are in charge of your own security. It's not the government. Think of the government and think of it of them actually trying to be competent in anything. Like, do you think they're actually good at anything? The only thing I think they're good at is like the space program. I think like that's the only pretty big successful program that the government has ever done. But I would say like don't trust the government for anything, especially your personal security. They don't care enough to keep you safe.
They don't care.
I love when people like always point to the government.
Yeah. I wonder if you put physical security there, what they would think, how they would respond.
I wanted to do this survey on LinkedIn, I'll be honest, but then I realized I'd be in the echo chamber of security where everyone would be like, it'd be you, and it'd be overwhelmingly not that. So I went through my mailing list and I pulled out everyone who was a security person. And I left all the people who were just like Gmail, Yahoo, whatever. And I sent that question to those people. Like I segmented my audience and I put it out there because I want to do an entire episode on the idea of who's responsible for what.
Yeah.
And one of the things that highlighted to me is the idea of personal agency. We don't have that anymore. Most people are looking to pass off their personal agency on their decision-making and their responsibilities. It's not me, it's the university. It's not the university, it's the recruiter. It's not the recruiter, it's HR. It's not HR, it's the hiring manager. It's not the hiring manager, it's the politics. It's not the politics, it's something else. But we never look at ourselves and just for a second examine what it is. And that would also help us avoid burnout, by the way, as if you just stopped for a second and understood what you're really good at.
Yep. So the what you talked about earlier, I found it. It's called results-based work, results-only work environments, ROWE, ROWE. And it just talks about, work environments that it's results-focused, and if you can get it done in one day, adios. And if it takes you all week, then you got to work the week. So I will put that out there and do some more digging in because I think it's a great topic.
What's the O stand for again?
It's results only work environment. ROWE. You could wiki. It's on Wikipedia.
What do you think, Naomi?
I think there is a problem with that though. Like people expect you to be like at your desk to like answer Slacks and DMs and messages and stuff and emails. So yeah, I would love to be just done with work for after 4 hours a day because generally that's my focus time. I can do things in 4 hours, but people still need to talk to me throughout the day. So I still need to be here. So there's an element of like, oh, I wish I could disconnect, but I really can't, otherwise people are going to wonder if I'm even doing my job.
So check this out. I'm going to do some more digging into this because this is good. The people who started it, they started the strategy at Best Buy. And then they started a consulting group. It was implemented at the Gap, as well as Girl Scouts of San Gorgina, a company called J.A. Counter and Associates, and Fairview Health Services IT department. So it also went to like Yum Brands and some others. So I want to really dig into this and see what kind of companies are, still doing this. And because I remember it being talked about in about 2015, 2016 to see what the results are and did it actually work? Because Naomi, to your point, the expectation is this today, but the expectation, I'll bring this part up. Prior to COVID, I would have all these challenges getting cybersecurity peeps to take certain jobs because, for example, you got to drive into Washington, D.C. and sit in that 2-hour nightmare of traffic every day, 4 hours going both ways, depending on where you live in the metro area. I know James can talk about the Atlanta metro, good God, the traffic in these various areas, right? So tons of security peeps be like remote. And companies were absolutely not in the office. They have to be in the office, blah, 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 blah. And they lost out on a lot of talent. And voila, here we are in the middle of COVID. People are remote. They're still getting their jobs done. Some are more efficient. So all of this stuff happens. The expectation before was you got to be in the office. You have to be here, all this stuff. Now you're seeing the benefit of, the extra 4 hours, not that you should be spending it necessarily working, but there could be, there's a correlation like, people work differently. You can set certain things up and then get your work done and then go back to it or whatever. You're not sitting burning time in traffic for hours on end, depending on what metro areas you're in. So, maybe some big, huge shift will happen and something like that will push people in that direction, but who knows? Because we would have 100 years.
I'm not optimistic about that. You know why? Because the challenge you have with what we're talking about today is executives don't really quite comprehend the idea behind remote work still. And I know a lot of people who work for organizations and they work from home, but they've got to be logged in Slack or on Teams between these hours. They have to be there, even if they've got nothing to do, right? Even if they can log off and just take some time away. When you're working from home and you've got kids, a lot of times you can spend, 2 hours playing with your kids, wearing them out, feeding them, putting them to bed for 2 hours. You sit down and for 2 hours, you've got peace of mind to really get your work done. And in those 2 hours, that's like 6 hours of office work, right? I mean, that's just the truth because it's shorter calls, it's quicker messages, it's you're on it, right? Less distractions, and your kids wake up and you're back at it with your kids, and then you put them to bed at night and you can sit up for 3 more hours and do work. And I think that's the problem is most people are like, no, you've got to be logged in and you've got to be on Teams or you've got to be on Skype or Slack or whatever between all these hours. And if you're not online and if you're not on a call and if we don't see it on your schedule, then that's a problem. It's that micromanagement piece.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Yeah, it's awfully quiet today.
I'm just
thinking about how we can make this happen. Sean says, I paid no second thought to security until my family and I were attacked in different ways. Couldn't protect them. Pushes me to work towards gaining as much knowledge as I can to keep my family safe. Sean, there are a number of people that have actually gotten into security specifically because this happened. They were either, they had something happen with them security related online, and then they started to dig in. So
I think it's a very interesting concept of rethinking work and avoiding burnout and understanding that burnout leads to mistakes, right? Like people being tired brings about mistakes, which makes you inherently weaker.
Yeah.
Right? Makes your organization as a whole weaker. I don't know. I mean, we live in a very interesting time because we're seeing change and change is very, very rapid. I think it's faster than ever before in human history. The amount of change that we've gone through in the last year, but the one thing I'm wondering that's gonna if it will change will be, the work week and the way people actually manage it, or if we're going to be stuck with an old idea.
I would love to see a move to a 4-day work week. I don't know about you, but I think experiments have been done in the past where if you work for 4 days and have that 3-day weekend, you actually end up with more productive workforce. You get higher revenues, all these great things that come with that, because you can actually relax in a 3-day weekend versus a 2-day. You know, think about it. You can't really go on a road trip. You can't go do anything really fun in 2 days. You have to just kind of get back into work mode after 1 day, essentially. So with a 3-day weekend, I've heard these experiments done. It actually works. So you guys have a voice. You bring it up to your management, bring it up to your supervisor and just say, hey, why don't we try this in the summer? It'll be just for a month, whatever. Can we please have Friday afternoons off? And it only works if the entire company does it, because otherwise some people are going to be working and resentful, and then they're going to be sending messages on a Friday that don't get answered. And so you really need to shut down as a company. And the idea is didn't Google experiment with that? Was it Google?
A couple companies.
The 40 work week. Yeah.
So the government has the federal government, I don't know, like all the other different local governments, but they have options where you could either do 4 days of like 10 hours, and then every other week you can get a day off. Like you work the amount of hours, you squeeze it into 4 days. So there's a couple different ways that they do some stuff. I mean, with remote work and flex time and things like that. So they've been testing and doing that for a while, for a long time. And I know a number of companies, especially in the summertime, they have like 4-day work weeks where you get Friday off, or you get a half a day Friday. So, you know, it's worked in some organizations and some companies sometime, but across the board, I haven't seen it as much. And so there's definitely companies that are doing it. So I'd be very curious. This is kind of the stuff that makes me tick.
I want to know if you would take, so people in the audience, if you're listening, would you rather take the 3-day weekend and get paid 20% less since you're working 4 days instead of 5? Or would you rather work the full-time 5 days a week and have the 2-day weekend? I bet you more people would say, I'd rather have the 3-day weekend and the 20% pay cut, because your life is passing you by. Your time is more precious than any money that any company can give you. So I would probably guess more people would take that time, that 3-day weekend, and work for 80% of the pay. Yeah. And then you'll see a cascading set of effects will happen. Like society will start to put priorities again on community and family and things that really matter in terms of improving humanity, instead of just getting more money into the hands of corporations and the politicians, et cetera. So right now in my personal life, I would love to see a change and just a paradigm shift, and just say we prioritize humanity first in everything. Like, why are we putting these profits before people? Why are we putting people before things? Like, that makes no sense. Or people after things.
The thing is,
historically, we've always done that, though. Historically, as the human race, we've always done that. We've always cared more about things than
yeah.
I mean, everything's about control and power, and don't let anyone ever tell you otherwise, right? And I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. It's all about control and power. Mm-hmm. No one is immune from having power. We know what is it? There's a saying that says absolute power corrupts.
Mm-hmm.
And power corrupts absolutely.
Yeah. So but the law enforcement does 4 days, 12-hour shifts.
Yeah.
And they get 3-day weekends. So do fire departments. So do healthcare workers.
Yeah.
And it's very balancing for them. If you talk, like my aunt, I have an aunt and cousins that are all in healthcare, and they all work 4 days a week. They work 12 hours, and then they get a 3-day weekend.
But those are like the most stressful jobs in America, I think. Service workers,
but how is security not one of the most stressful jobs?
It is. Yeah, I'm not arguing against that, but I'm just saying I don't think that's the greatest example. Like, they're burning out just as much as we are. So I think if society in general accepts the fact that we do not need to work 12-hour days in order to survive, there is a limit to what we can do as humans, and we don't need that. We don't need to work 40 hours a week. We just don't. Well, there is no need for that.
I know also my cousin, she does this. She is also in the medical field, and she only works Saturdays and Sundays. So she works 2 12-hour days. She gets paid her full salary, like if she had worked 5 days. And when I was asking my mom about it, like a few years ago, she said that you couldn't get anybody to work weekends. So they just created this, they came up with a solution. Like, hey, we'll pay you a full, like if you work 5 days, 40 hours for 24 hours, but it's just going to be on Saturdays and Sundays. So solutions can't happen.
Part of that problem
when
is
people want them.
Part of that problem is unions. What you just talked about is a union issue. So union people don't want to work on weekends, and then the union will negotiate seniority. And so only new people have to work weekends, and then new people quit because they're all working just weekends. So they go like, I have no life, right? I can't see family. I can't see friends because they're all working weekdays, and I'm off weekdays, but I'm working weekends. Right. That's why we need to eliminate unions. I think unions is the most corrupt thing, and it's the largest money racket in business.
Okay.
And no one hacked our nation state elections in 2016. Come on, Kelly. Come on, man. No one hacked our election in 2016. Really? We're still having this conversation?
Oh, boy. Equifax. Okay, so Kelly says, exactly, I got into cybersecurity because my personal data was involved in the Equifax breach, and I read about the nation state hack on our election systems in 2016. This hacks every election.
No one hacked the election. They spread misinformation and disinformation. There was no hacking. All right, that's false. There's not one proven report. This has been investigated by CISA, FBI, the White House, special counsel. If this gets investigated by more people, it'd be ridiculous. It's just like the last president came out and said, they cheated. No proof of cheating. The elections were not hacked. It was very simple. 2 people ran. Most people voted against something rather than for something. Period. End of discussion. Move on.
Yes,
God,
that is
true. You can't hack a decentralized election system. The American election system is decentralized. Now, if HR 1 passes and it gets federalized, then all hell's on the table. You're absolutely right. At that point, that can happen. Call your senator. Call your senator right now and say, vote no on HR 1. Because if you want to have distrust in our election system, let the morons in DC run.
All right. John De La Cruz says, Kelly, you got them spiced up, man. See, we had positive James.
For 57 minutes. You got it for 56 minutes. That's a record. That's a record.
And then he goes down the rabbit hole.
Don't forget, the government is not competent enough to actually bring out an actual fraud or anything like that. So remember that. Like, the government literally cannot get anything done because
this is not about party. This is not about party.
And bureaucratic.
This isn't about Trump or Biden. This isn't about Republican or Democrat. This isn't about conservative or liberal. This is about our freedoms as people and understanding that we don't serve the government. Government serves us. Those people serve us, not us them. This has kind of been turned around. Let's take the power back, people.
Let's take it back. Well, actually, it's the elites versus the poor. So.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
Who's that?
We should do a politics section. I would love a politics section.
Spice we get on Ciso Thursdays, baby. This is how it goes down. All right. So people are following. People say, John says he wants the 4-day work week. Next Gen wants the 4-day work week.
Yeah, 4-day work week with 20% less pay.
20%.
Can we start a petition?
That's too much. 10 hours a day, 4 days. That's what most people are saying. Not all people are wired like Naomi. Who says this?
Uh-oh.
I don't know.
Hopefully.
David, Shady Dave. He says,
Dave beat James McQuiggan yesterday. James put 200, Dave put 213 to get me to wear that ugly shirt right there behind my shoulder.
Did we get to 1,000 today?
Did we get to 1,000 yet? Do I need to put the rest of the money on there?
I will refresh the screen and tell you we are still at 603. So everyone who's been watching, who's been commenting is a deadbeat.
Pay up, people. Get in there and I'm going to put the link around and ping people afterwards and make sure that they donate.
This
Danielle
is 100% going to Wounded Warrior. We don't touch the money. I don't see it. No one sees it but Wounded Warrior Project. Just so you guys understand, Tiltify is a platform that Wounded Warrior does. You can actually verify that on the link.
Sweet. Danielle says, I did 3-day, 12 hours. Zoe says money is finite. Time isn't. The value of money changes, but the value of time doesn't. 4 days a week sounds pretty good. So everybody wants their 4-day work week. My superhuman work skills are unlimited. I'm trying to see who said that. That's Dave. Shady Dave. Tammy said, wow. Kelly's laughing at us. Okay, so last comment. Oh, there's no link on YouTube. I got to get it on YouTube. Okay.
Just put it in the comments right now on StreamYard. Just paste it into the comments. It'll go on YouTube.
Yeah, but it's not. Oh, wait a minute. You know what? Let me go back here. I have to copy it from this other one. Right
Yes, time is our most valuable resource. It is unreplenishable. Once you use it, it is gone. You never get that back. So spend it wisely.
Unless you're The Simpsons, because they have a time machine.
Right, or you travel to space and time is relative, etc.
Yeah.
Or you would lose time that way even faster.
Can I not copy paste from here? I can't copy. All right, guys, go to Wounded Warriors. I can't copy paste off of here.
No, that's fine.
That
we
works.
see it.
Yeah.
You see it?
Yeah, it's Tiltify, but you guys can see it. It's also on the page. It's in the comments, or you can just ping me or Renee or
I'll put Tiltify.com in here, and then you guys go find it. Let's see. I'm looking for any other comments here. So it's Tiltify, and then go to CISO. That is the.
Go to Tiltify and look up the CISO Talk. Just put CISO Talk.
CISO Talk, and it's on there. But we'll post it again and make sure, because we want to see this man in a Paisley shirt. This is too much fun for us.
Hang on, go to the Shady Dave comment. James says the reason the mute button was invented. I disagree. No, it wasn't.
Shady Dave.
No.
We love James on here. He brings the smoke every week. Sean says, just want to say thanks for being here today. Thank you, Sean, for being here with us. I am going to wrap. We are at over the 1 hour mark. We're at 2:05 p.m. Eastern. We could stay here with you guys all day long.
Kelly's the man. Kelly just put it up there.
Thanks, you so much, Kelly. You are the man. Guys, donate, please. $20 each. If everyone on here put $20 up, we would have this man in a shirt, in a Paisley shirt, probably right now and for the rest of the month. So if you want to
get to $5,000 for a full week, and I will broadcast every single day, twice a day, with a different shirt that you guys send me. Seriously.
Different Paisley shirts.
And Under Armour and Wounded Warrior are working on the most ridiculous thing if we get to $5,000. Like, I'm scared of how the Wounded Warrior people, when I contacted them about this fundraiser, were just overjoyed with all the stupid ideas they've had about what kind of ridiculous shirt they can make for me to wear. And let's make change. Let's support the brave people who volunteer in our armed service. They volunteer to do this. They go and they fight wars on our behalf, and sometimes not rightfully so. As a veteran, I can say that, and I know Shady Dave won't like what I'm about to say, but it is what it is. And, these people need support because, they come back hoping the government's going to help them. Like some of you rely on the government to take care of your personal security, and it doesn't. And organizations like the Wounded Warrior do so much job. They do such a good job treating these veterans. They do such an amazing job treating these veterans. They save lives, and I mean it. They save lives.
Awesome.
$150 literally provides therapy to a veteran.
That's amazing. That is amazing. You got mine. It's coming up shortly. So, folks, this is Devarsh. He has experience in networking and a little bit of network security. He wants to speak about getting into cyber. We're going to send you a link, and you can get into our 2021 and 221 and 2021 campaign. Folks, we are out of here. Shady Dave is blowing us up. It's my job to troll James. Hey, James, who prompted this? He has the smiley face. Troll Master General. Shady Dave is here.
Yeah, there's Dave. But I'm pretty sure my phone's gonna ring here once we disconnect with Shady Dave on the. I'm gonna change his name in my phone too to Shady Dave.
Behind the shadows. Oh man, did you want to say something before we wrap, James?
Naomi,
I love you guys. That's all.
It was fun. Always love seeing you all. Always happy being here. We will see you next week.
Hashtag free Hong Kong.
Wear yellow for Hong Kong. Yes.
Hashtag free Hong Kong. Bye, everybody. Have a good week.
Bye.